One day during college, mid 4-hour YouTube binge with Twitch playing on my second monitor, I got pretty hungry. I did what any normal person would do. I walked to the kitchen to grab some food. In the kitchen, I see my roommate at the stove cooking something up. As I look through the fridge for something to eat, I ask my homie, "So, what are you making?" He replies, "Oh, nothing much, just cooking some rice." What? I quickly shut the refrigerator door and move over to the stove. To my horror, he was indeed cooking rice. You might ask yourself, what's wrong with cooking rice? There's nothing wrong with cooking rice, rather the method to which my friend was cooking it. He was boiling it in a pot. To my disbelief, I checked my phone, wondering if I somehow woke up in the 19th century. I looked at him with disgust. I didn't know I was living amongst peasants. I'm gonna be honest, up until then, I had no idea people were still making rice the old-fashioned way. I thought that we've evolved past this. We are no longer Neanderthals who need to boil rice to cook it. It's the 21st century. We have the technology. You don't need to cook rice the same way your ancestors did 2 centuries ago.
So the technology actually doesn't exist. So it's
Wait, the technology. William, here is the technology. I've asked you to simply make it smaller.
Especially since we live in the first world where we have access to the technological wonder that is the rice cooker. This is the pinnacle of human achievement, a miracle of modern engineering, a testament to humanity's ingenuity, and the greatest invention of the 20th century, which makes it so we no longer have to manually cook rice. It's a device that cooks rice. Self-explanatory. But not only that, it cooks rice perfectly. You can cook rice the caveman way, but if you do that, there are too many variables. Too much water, you get sad, soggy-ass rice. If it's really bad, you get congee or rice porridge from it. Not enough water, and you get undercooked, crunchy rice, feeling like you're chewing on popcorn kernels. On top of this, you gotta sit by the stove the entire time. You gotta monitor it, watch your rice so you don't burn it or something. I eat a lot of rice. If I had to cook rice multiple times a day, like the ancestors did, that's the same amount of effort it takes Sisyphus to push a boulder up the mountain for all of time. I don't have time for all of this. I'm meant to be using that time to make something of myself by scrolling TikTok and Instagram Reels. You know how a wizard sits and ponders the orb? That's how I look watching my pot of rice boil on the stove. That's how I look when I have to cook rice manually. But instead of this archaic method, I just have to add rice and water to a metal pot, the ratio being 1 to 1.25 or 1 to 1.5 rice to water. Once the rice and water are added, I close the lid, press a button, and sit on my couch scrolling through Insta Reels of muscle mommies for 20 to 30 minutes. And when I finally snap out of my gym girl hypnosis and go over to my rice cooker, the rice is cooked perfectly. Every single time. The first rice cooker was created by Mitsubishi in 1923, so the precursor to fighter planes and subpar cars was the model NJN1. The way it worked was pretty simple. You'd plug it in, then the electricity would heat up a coil, which would heat and boil the water to start cooking the rice. Unfortunately, it's 1923, so electricity isn't widely available yet, so the NJN1 was used on ships rather than in the average household. The rice cooker wasn't automated, so it was pretty much no different from manually boiling the rice on your stove. It's not until the 1940s and early 50s that household rice cookers become a thing. 3 companies sold these to the market: Mitsubishi, Matsushita, which would eventually become Panasonic, and Sony. These rice cookers still weren't automated, so they didn't sell very well because you could just save the money and cook rice the old-fashioned way. In 1955, a new challenger appeared. Toshiba releases their ER4. It was no ordinary rice cooker. This time, it was automated, meaning you could put in a certain amount of rice and a certain amount of water, you turn it on, then it cooks the rice for you. You don't even need to be there, because it'll turn off for you when the rice is done cooking. At first, the ER4 didn't sell very well despite being a fully automated rice cooking system. The price of one of these was 3,200 yen, so it's still quite expensive. So if we take 3,200 yen in 1955, adjust for inflation, that'd be around 20,834 yen today. And converting the yen into dollars, that would be $141.15, which was extremely expensive. But through the use of various sales promotions and public demonstrations, they were able to get the word out about the automatic rice cooker. And by 1960, it's estimated that about 50% of Japanese households had an automatic rice cooker. Seeing the success of the ER4, other Japanese manufacturers created their own versions of this rice cooker. And this popularity and this boom in rice cooking technology spread across Asia and even made its way to the US sometime in the 50s through Hawaii and California due to their big Asian populations. And then from here we quickly make our way into what becomes more recognizable as the modern rice cooker. In 1979, automated electronic rice cookers were equipped with tiny CPUs to better manage the rice soaking and heating process. In 1988, they introduced automatic rice cookers that used induction heating rather than direct coil heating. So as you see, rice cooking technology, pretty simple but has advanced fairly quickly. It's actually really simple. When you break it down, a rice cooker has three main components: the metal pot, or this is where you put the rice and water in, the heating mechanism, and a temperature sensor. These main three things plus a lid and the laws of thermodynamics will cook your rice for you. After the rice and water are put in, you put the lid on. You normally press a button or flick a switch to signal the rice cooker to start heating up and powering on. Once this happens, the heating element powers on and starts to heat up because you need boiling water to cook rice. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And due to the laws of thermodynamics, as long as there's still liquid in the pot, the temperature of the rice and water can't rise above 100 degrees Celsius. So the rice cooker will keep adding energy and keep trying to add heat, but the inside of the pot will stay a constant temperature. And all this time, the rice is boiling and absorbing the water. At some point, all the water is either evaporated or absorbed by the rice, so there's no longer any liquid water in the pot. Since there's no more liquid water, there's nothing stopping the temperature from going above 100 C. Once the temperature goes above 100 C into like 110s or 120s, the temp sensor goes, hey, we're over 100 C, that means there's no more water left, and when there's no more water, that means the rice is done cooking. When the temperature sensor notices the jump in temperature, the rice cooker will automatically power off or go into a keep warm mode. The secret to the rice cooker is that it doesn't measure time, it measures the temperature change, which is more reliable, and is the way it cooks your rice perfectly every time. The only thing that matters in using an automatic rice cooker is the ratio. You add a ratio of 1 to 1.25 or 1 to 1.5 rice to water. If you're not a fan of manually measuring out your rice and your water, you could just use the good old finger technique. Now, I'm not sure if this works for everyone, because as an Asian bruh, I'm sure my body has evolved to have fingers that are perfect for measuring the rice to water ratio. I've personally never measured out the amount of rice or water. I kind of just throw in the amount of rice I want to eat and then throw in the water and then just finger it to measure, but I don't know, man. And this is important because the water to rice ratio determines the outcome rather than the amount of time it's in the rice cooker. So as long as you add the right rice to water ratio, it's pretty much foolproof. Because as long as you add the right amounts of each rice and water, the physics of water boiling and the absorption by the rice pretty much guarantee that the rice finishes cooking at the perfect doneness level. So here's a basic graph of rice cooker temperature over time and marking where the rice cooker determines the rice is finished. Here are my recommendations for which rice cooker you should get, or rice cookers. The first one is the Aroma 8-cup digital rice cooker. It goes for around $35 to $40. This is the Toyota Corolla of rice cookers.
A 2008 Toyota Corolla.
Right, it's reliable and super accessible. You could find it anywhere. You'll find it at places like Walmart or Target. Pretty much the baseline rice cooker, can't go wrong with it. Next up is the Tiger JBV S10U. This goes for around $80 to $100. This is what I have and what I use. I use the 5.5 cup version. If you are a real eater, they got a 10 cup version that goes for around 160 bucks. Honestly, this is perfect. It's higher quality. You can program your own cooking timers. You got various cooking functions for things like soups and stews. You can also cook your rice differently depending on the type of rice you're making. This is essentially the Mercedes E-Class of rice cookers. So if you're trying to step up your rice cooking game, get one of these bad boys. And finally, the Zojirushi NP-HCC 10XH. This goes for around $400. If you got bread, if you got racks, if you're trying to flex, you get one of these. It does everything the Tiger does, but better. Higher quality product in every possible way. That's it. It's the Lamborghini Temerario. Like, what more could you want? I grew up in an Asian household. When I was a little kid, I thought everyone ate rice with every single meal, which I quickly learned wasn't the case. Still, I thought everyone used a rice cooker, because I had no idea you could cook rice any other way. Well, I mean, I knew you could cook rice by boiling it in a pot, but I didn't think anyone would actually do it, not in modern day. Like, it wasn't until the roommate incident that I saw it with my own two eyes for the first time. I thought cooking rice this way was a kid's tale, something that you'd find in fiction, or at least the history books. Nothing that I'd actually face in real life. Honestly, it probably would have been easier for you to convince me that my roommate was actually an alchemist who was brewing potions over the stove, than to convince me that he was cooking rice manually. And for all of you manual rice cookers out there, just get a rice cooker. It's so much easier and infinitely more efficient. Like, brother, it cooks your rice perfectly every single time. Do yourself a favor and invest in one. Don't be the only guy still dry beaten when everyone else is using lotion.